Good morning from the LA ports of California.
Talking about a higher praise. Tesha Buchata. Romans 15:7. Wherefore receive ye one another, as Christ also received us to the glory of God.
Well, the Amplified, Romans 15:7. Therefore continue to accept and welcome one another, just as Christ has accepted and welcomed us to the glory of our great God. There is no study notes in that, but the NLT does. Therefore accept each other just as Christ has accepted you, so that God will be given glory. The Roman Church was a diverse community. It was made up of Jews and Gentiles, slaves and free people, rich and poor, strong and weak in faith. So they had difficulty in accepting one another. Accepting means taking people into our homes as well as into our hearts, sharing meals and activities, and avoiding racial and economic discrimination. We must go out of our way to avoid favoritism. Consciously spend time greeting those you don't normally talk to. Minimize differences and seek common ground for fellowship. In this way, you are accepting others as Christ has accepted you, and God is given glory.
For years I heard this verse and my mind just slipped right over it. Many modern translations say receive one another, but there are an equal number who say accept one another. The word in Greek is proslambaneth, which means to take hold of or to embrace. I think that's more than just receiving someone. I see it more as an acceptance. As one who has Asperger's syndrome, I find I'm received in a church, but rarely am I accepted. This is more than just receiving someone and welcoming them. It's asking if there's anything they need, anything they can do for them. I have visited many churches in my lifetime, desperately hoping to find at least one church where someone did not care, that I did not like to be touched, could not look them in the eye, and struggled to find words to speak, let alone words that fit the topic they bring up. No one ever asked me if there was anything they could do for me. I would have immediately answered that I was that I had Asperger's syndrome, and it was just so very hard to walk from my car through the door of the church. I would be willing to show up every Sunday exactly the same time and stand on the sidewalk. If someone could just commit to come and walk with me to the door, I would be there every Sunday. No one ever asked to help. I would struggle hard and manage to make it every Sunday for a few months. But after a few months of sitting alone and no one ever talking with me, I would drift away. No one ever called to ask how I was doing, why I hadn't attended for a while, or was there anything they could do to help me attend. To me, being received means that they allowed me in the church, but being accepted meant someone took the effort to walk with me through the door. If someone had done this little thing for me, you know what Paul is saying. He's saying it is a glory to God. Every modern translation I read says glory, and for good reason. It's the word doxa in the Greek, which means glory. However, in the Aramaic, Paul's native language, and what he was most likely thinking, it is the word teshabuchata, which comes from the root word shavak, which means to praise. In the Akkadian, it means to be at rest or satisfied. To reach out to someone who's different, I don't mean different like someone in a wheelchair who's blind. Ushers will trip over each other to help such a person. I mean someone with no apparent disability, but are just different. Homeless, a bum, the way they dress, smell, look, or speak. The one that strikes you as, ooh boy, another loser. He'll be begging for money or wanting all sorts of help. Nobody wants to deal with a loser or a kook. A physically disabled person, yes, but not a kook or someone with Asperger's like me. But if you do ask that simple question, is there anything I can do to help you? Paul says that you are offering a praise to God, a praise that brings him satisfaction. A praise to God just as much as lifting your hands and singing. And In fact, it's a higher praise to God that standing for 45 minutes listening to a worship team sing the same song over and over. God is not too impressed with our endurance, nor is he that needful that he has to hear you say, I praise you a few dozen times. God may have sent a person like that strange fellow who can't even walk through the church doors alone to encourage you to a higher praise.
Well,
He says,
that was different.
What you do to the least of these, you have done to me.
Well, Asperger's, apparently what it looked like and talking about was a form of autism. Autism is real. I've got some family that have to deal with it on a daily basis. It's very difficult to for them to walk into a big, crowded building. But you just got to treat them like they're just normal people. But as for us in our truck,
We shall serve the Lord.